What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to your July 8th members only live call. I'm Chan Bobbitt. This is Steve Bayonne. Today, we're going to go over a couple things that's important and imperative for each one of our members. I'm not going to hold up this train. We're going to get busy tonight. Steve got something for you guys. So, Steve, you got the floor, brother.
All right. You want to handle that dollar stuff after I finish?
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, you know what? Let's just get into the academy stuff first.
Okay.
Drop a one in the chat if you're fairly new, if you just signed up June, July. How's it looking?
A lot of ones. Yep.
All right, guys, you got an extra gift. And it wasn't because we decided to do it, it's because the system glitched on us. So it was $1 trial for the first month, and it's $50 after that. Listen, if you guys been paying $50 who have been here, drop a fire emoji if it's worth every bit of it. Now, what happened was the system glitched and it charged you guys $1 the second month. I'm not asking for $49 back, but I'm not. So we fixed it, and the next month, I just don't want you guys getting accustomed to like, oh, it's $1. No, nothing in here is $1. Nothing in the world is $1. I understand. We just needed to get you to get in here to believe in all the things we've been saying that have been correct since a decade ago. All right. So you guys got a $2 situation out of it. We caught it. So next month, everything would be right back to $50. All right. What else do we have for Academy? We're going to bring our guy Lance on. So if you're new, you may have not met Lance. Champ dropped the full playback. Lance is a good friend of mine. Very sharp individual. You'll when you watch the playback, you'll get the background and the history on him. But there's a product. He's a contributor on the Academy now. Lance has been down many roads in life, and he's here to contribute some religious exemptions, ways to position ourselves. So this isn't just about cryptocurrency and AI. If you don't know how to navigate the public and the private sectors, guys, we're cooked out here, right? Especially when we're moving into a fully digital world, when you start to see headlines like particular tech guys are now generals and high-ranking members of the United States Army. You gotta start asking yourself why. You understand? This is we're entering the age of technocrats. They're the most powerful men and women in the world that create things that we're associated with that just creates convenience in our lives that we can't break away from, right? The first wave of destruction was like guys we knew were around, but we didn't really know who they were. But now we know who they were. We know who they are. And the wild part about them is they control every second of our time and they know everything about us and they monetize off of it. You
Mhm.
understand? So when we put this group together, this wasn't just about like cryptocurrency. Initially, I thought it was whatever. Then when it started to turn into like just sovereignty, I'm just like, shit, my whole life has revolved around freedom. Meaning I've been a serial entrepreneur forever since I was a kid. Yes, I had some jobs here and there at different places, but for the most part, like I'm figuring things out. You understand? And the one thing that I love about entrepreneurship, it's not even, it ain't the money. I'm gonna tell y'all that now, right? Because if anybody that's been on this journey understands the ebbs and flows of this shit. So it's definitely not the money, but what it is it's the freedom, right? Because I chose to not get money 24/7 just to grow a family and like be present. So the freedom is the number one thing that I've gained from being an entrepreneur. I don't have to ask somebody where I need to be or what time is lunch. And I'm just saying to dig at nobody. I'm just telling you my personality and what I was put here to do. It just wasn't my mission on this go round, right? Everybody has a different situation. If you're doing things for money, I can tell you that you need to start finding purpose because once the jobs are gone, you're still going to attach the same mentality to purpose. So you can't ask me what I do for a living. It's not wrapped around like any one thing. I do a lot of things. So with that said, this Saturday I'm leaving to go to Colombia, right? Writing a new chapter. God damn, it's a new book. And if you don't know and you haven't been following or you just came on, we are investing in a resort in Santa Marta, Colombia. I decided to last year to sell all our real estate in America. I actually have one more closing tomorrow, a piece of land parting ways with. After that, I wouldn't say I have no. I live in a house, but you know, outside of that, no investments in real estate in America. It's done after tomorrow. So, with that said, as I turn one page, I'm starting to write in another page. And I'm telling you guys, I'm going to document this. There's going to be a group inside the academy for this. Like, I want to share this journey, good, bad, or indifferent. But everything I've been on in the last couple months, you wouldn't even imagine, right? The different language, the understanding propensities of different countries, and trying to read through the lines, and then them trying to, like, I'm not an easy guy to figure out either. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much to it. But what drives me the most is to know that not only we're going to have an investment that's absolutely gorgeous, but the biggest thing is it solidifies us with freedom, right? The ability to even leave the country if it gets a little too wacky. You understand? When I'm watching laws, and the one thing about me is I know math, and I know when things don't add up, right? So when you give tech guys high clearance in the government, I know what's happening. This is what we research. So when we teach you guys this, we're not teaching this because we just figured it out. Like, we've been playing around with this stuff, but we go places that other people don't go. And that's the whack part about being in cryptocurrency, is that we got to follow world news and economics and connect all sorts of dots. And then I flipped over a table, and I seen like how crazy the whole world is at that point now. So when you start minding your business, you start to understand that everything around you matters. That's how you catch plays. That's how you ride the ebbs and flows, right? These guys do nothing but crash markets to build new markets to then move, and they just keep doing this for no apparent reason outside of just the lust for money. So Saturday, the journey been started, but the official journey starts, and I'm like, out, right? So once that play gets set up, what the play was really for was to acquire a visa, right? Not denounce my U.S. citizenship, just have options. So when you start to hear things of people's visa applications getting denied, all you digital nomads, you're gonna have to start going home soon, right? But home ain't as chill. That's why you left, because you're able to
Yeah.
make money at home and live in other countries where the quality of life is better. You think anybody really wants that for people at the end of the day? No. So you start to come into these countries, you got to start to invest in the countries. That's when you solidify a spot, when you could actually create not only whatever you want to create, but then you start to create jobs. You start to give opportunity to the locals. You start to invest in their economy, not just like extract from it. All right. So with that said, um, what other academy shit did we have?
Um,
Oh, so Lance is going to come on. And we'll introduce him, and he'll have a segment today. So he's just going to go over 508. Let me not get started. WD-40. Where we at? 508C.
yeah, yep, 508C1A. Yep.
You want to? All right, guys. So that's going to be religious exemptions. Very different from some other products that you had. One thing I could tell you about anything that we do at the academy, anytime we bring somebody on, they've been well vetted, right? This is not anything that's, we're just trying to figure this stuff out. No, you're going to have hardcore data. We're going to show you how to utilize the situation, various ways. It's a strategy at the end of the day. So if you want to understand wealth creation, you guys are in the right place, because with crypto, there's, as easy as it is to flow out and move fast, is the opposite of that is easy to stop also. All right, so I'm gonna tell you, there's a downside to it. It's digital, so somebody could turn it on and off. And I'll give you a prime example. When Russia and Ukraine first got at each other, they put sanctions on Russia, right? And then North Korea and all these other places, they were sidestepping sanctions through using cryptocurrency, right?
Mhm.
Ukraine was building, raising capital through the use of cryptocurrency. Now, fast forward to Gaza and Israel. Here's the crypto twist with them. So, in Palestine, there were people that were using, the currencies are done. Like, the wild part about knowing cryptocurrency is understanding there's people in third world countries that are utilizing it more than Americans are, because they understand the importance of inflation, and that's how they get around inflation in their countries. I know this for a fact. I work with these guys. They're part of our company, whether it be our guy in Nigeria who handles our back end systems. I am telling you that the world is actually using this. And these are people who don't even know technology, but they just know something's not right about their money. So I'm paying them in cryptocurrency. They ask for ETH. I'm like, nah, don't take ETH, take this. And they're like, wow, the fees are better. Oh, I got more money. Oh, like little things like that. So I'm teaching as we go. So I'm just showing you that this world is bigger than just the United States, guys. what the U.S. is doing right now is just a fight for it's a power shift that's happening, and we got to get caught up in the middle of this situation. Get your money out of those banks. You understand what I'm telling you? Get your money out of those banks. Start to diversify. What I mean by that is, if you've been in the academy and you haven't clicked on professional development, you won't realize that we have 2 gold master classes of how to purchase gold, silver, just commodities, period. And since the time that we started that masterclass, commodities have been up well over 100 and something percent. We were talking gold had a 1,000 in front of it, and now it's 3,000.
3,000 per ounce. Yep.
So we're showing you guys not only the physical aspect of buying, but also the digital aspect of it through Glint Pay. That's all part of your membership, guys. You could literally, if you work the system correctly and how we set it up, that $50 shouldn't be a problem for you. Because my Glint Pay takes care of some gas, takes care of like little things here and there. Swipe it at the barbershop. My shit is up. It's kind of what I use to offset inflation right now. Doesn't matter how much money you have, guys. We're all feeling it. You understand? So you can't work or save your way to wealth. All right. So now let's get to the good part now. Let me just give you a dot connect and I'm out. These guys can have the floor. So PricewaterhouseCoopers. I'm gonna drop this document in here right now. And just give me a thumbs up if you guys see the image. Does anybody know who PricewaterhouseCoopers is? Just drop a 1 in chat if you do. And a 2 if you don't. All right, so you guys understand. So let me see. So PricewaterhouseCoopers, let's just get into it, right? And actually Librand is at the end of it, but they just use PwC. All right. So they're founded in 1998. They operate in 150 countries and they have over 360 global employees. All right. So their revenues are somewhere, and this is from 23, nothing recent, but upwards of $53 billion. That was in 23. All right. Fortune 500 company, governments, financial institutions, tech firms, startups. All right. It's Pricewaterhouse is part of a big 4. All right. And they're embedded in finance, technology, risk management, auditing, and regulations. Guys, this is as big as it comes in their sector. Okay. So what they've done now is, you guys see is the document in?
It's not showing.
It's not showing yet? Oh, I got it. Like my first day.
There you go.
All right. That's the document right there, guys. Save that document. Create a folder called "In Case of an Emergency, Break Open." All right. This might go over some of y'all heads, but I'm gonna connect a wild dot for you guys right now. So this company has already been positioning itself. This is gonna be a place that we go to borrow. If we ever needed to get funds for our crypto without having to sell, we can use them for custody. All right. I've been waiting for this. A lot of the DeFi protocols, we tell you how unsafe they are right now. We've seen a lot of them get crippled over time, people losing money, life savings and everything. I knew this day was going to come. They needed the technology. Now they're here, right? We probably have about 2 more months. By fall, you're going to start seeing cryptocurrency being sold at your local bank directly through your app. That's going to be integratable with blockchains that we've been told you about. So we're talking about a new wave of liquidity that's about to come in just because of convenience. What we didn't have with the internet is, when the internet got big, guys, just think about it. We didn't have convenience then. And everybody didn't have the internet either. So just imagine what's about to happen right now. The minute you wake up, an update is done to your phone and your wallets and everything is set up for you. So whether you want to be in cryptocurrency or not, you have no choice. There is choices. You can opt for other things if you want to, kind of keep it private and public. So this is what we're going to be doing over the course of the next 3 months as we start to watch the financial system being built in front of us, the same way that Champ's been laying it out to you for 10 years and myself. We are going to update you guys on what you need to be doing and where you need to be paying attention. Understand, when the money starts to flow into the crypto market and your wallets go from like half dead sleep to like, what the hell is happening in my life right now? Don't panic, right? This is where you're supposed to crack open everything that we talked about. Because when you don't know what to do with money, when it comes, the first thing you do is what you naturally do, and is suspend it. You will never have an opportunity again. Do not sell most of your cryptocurrency, guys. When I tell you that, meaning if you understand the long term of where this market is going, you just borrow against it if you need something. The minute you sell, it's a taxable occurrence. If you don't understand products like Lance, what Lance is doing, then you won't even know that how much you would owe at the end of the year. Trust me, you don't just have, $5, $10 million and then you just start spending millions of dollars, not thinking that something's not going to come back to you.
Mhm.
You will not be able to keep reoccurring making investments in that way. At some point, you just get priced out and you just won't buy any more of this set asset because you have enough of it. There's going to be a DeFi market. There's going to be a staking market, meaning you could start to, because once they become scarce, they're going to start to have to um, lend it. You lend it to them and they pay you in return for it. There was a percentage the other day where it talked about, and I'll bring it up. And this is, I'm just showing you the shift right now, guys, between traditional banks. Cryptocurrency is not here to change, to replace any sort of money. It's here to replace an old failing banking system. All right. We shot something on Robinhood, champ. If you can just give that to them, that's probably one of the most important videos to watch too, guys, is understanding the future of banking. So you could prepare yourself now for it. What you focus on will expand. So keep playing the I'm broke now and I can't do this or I don't have time to do that. We got something for that. Time management is the first course you're supposed to take. I've heard every excuse in the book in the last 3.5 years. I've never met this many people in my life outside of high school. I joined the internet and I'm meeting thousands of people, and you guys all have the same excuses. It's like, yo, we got the same amount of time. It's just the time's not being spent wisely. That's it. It's not personal. It's just what you focus on will expand. So if you're going to commit to this cryptocurrency, I'm telling you guys, stay on this ride for a little bit. So we have institutional adoption with PwC, right? You
Mhm.
guys understand they're a powerhouse in their own right mind. But I want to find this screenshot. Okay. Nope. So Champ posted on this the other day. The U.S. Director of Federal Housing Finance Agency Bill agency, it's a guy named Bill, says the agency is looking to explore how cryptocurrency holdings could count towards mortgage qualification requirements. I can tell you that this stuff is already being put on paper, guys. You understand? People are closing transactions in Bitcoin. People are getting loans against this stuff already. This has been happening. So when you see these headlines, just know that it's just about to be integrated already. They've been testing it, but the headline will make it seem ambiguous, like, oh, maybe. They already know what it is. They're tracking the wealth. So when we're talking about $3 trillion, there's going to be a $30 trillion industry in a minute, like bigger than most industries in the world because the entire economies are moving over into this. Um, all right. So here's some things for PwC. When they're entering the crypto market, you can see that was directly from their website, guys. All right. The link I just dropped. And then if you're watching this somewhere else or a replay, we will have the actual document, champ. Just make sure that they get the link in the description on YouTube. All right. So you'll have the same download. Don't worry about it. All right. So these guys, the revenue opportunities were PricewaterhouseCoopers, high profit margins versus traditional assets. Traditional assets are failing right now. You understand? So these guys have big relationships with family banks. They have big relationships with corporate, with institutions, you name it. All right. So if they start talking adoption, right, and implementation, what I did, I took it a step further. I started to connect the dots to see who their biggest clients are. Then I started to follow their, how they're coming into the market. And it's identical. You understand? So there's a current demand for stablecoins and CBDCs, security tokens and NFTs. All right. So now we're talking about this is what Champ likes to say, and sometimes when I ask him, it doesn't stick, but I'm gonna remember this. So it's first movers advantage.
Mhm.
All right. So institutions want trusted names. This is why it's big for PwC. So if you're not looking at it as somebody that's going to add credibility to the market and hundreds of billions of dollars, then you're not seeing what I'm saying correctly. All right. So first movers advantage. PwC can lead in compliance and security. So now there's a trust thing. Guys, the boomers have all the money, right? The millennials and these guys, anything younger, they're not even entering the banking system. They're like, listen, we'll opt. They're going to Robinhood and non-traditional means because you can make more money. Your stock account is there, your loan is there, your crypto is there. Like, just think about what Robinhood is building right now. They're going to give car loans. They can give DeFi. They, that is one of the biggest companies. If anybody wants to invest in any company in the stock market right now, I would go Robinhood. It's the least talked about. And the minute that um, uh, Circle went public, you see what the price was, and it's still holding strong.
Yep.
And I know Circle's back in, and I'm like, they got to do a little bit more to make money because just being a stablecoin operator is not that crazy. But I did show you guys how they can make just $4 billion a year on treasury bonds and 4 to 5% of just what their reserves are. So they just filed for a bank license, Circle. So think about it. If they're on ramping, this is why Ripple and Coinbase and these guys wanted to give them upwards of $5 billion before they went public. Without even blinking an eye, they could even offer them $100 billion on acquisition if they wanted to. That's why they didn't take it, because it's like, bro, I'm making $4 to $5 billion a year just investing in junk bonds. And I control the on ramp, meaning this is how people buy into the market. So that means you can see where it's going. You could position them where you want them to go if you add another element to it, like a bank.
100%.
All right, so first mover's advantage. You either in this or you not, guys. I'm telling you, the biggest wave of crypto wealth is going to be made within the next 6 to 12 months. Like at whatever point they release this beast, that's going to be the wealth, because we're talking about projects 20 cents, $1. This is going to be synonymous to what Bitcoin did from 2009 till now with 100K. Actually, you're going to have projects that are going to moon even higher than that because they actually do something.
Yep.
But that's another conversation for another day. So some of the benefits for the guys like me and you with this: safer access to crypto, right? So far from the days of these disclosures not protecting you and doing all this other stuff. These guys aren't going to do that. They're not going to have the Coinbase has they have the right to do that to people, right? Because we're just retail investors. That's not made for institutional guys. So when you have an institutional product that cares about the big investor money, they make sure that those guys don't lose. But Coinbase and them, they don't really have an obligation to do anything outside of what the law tells them they can and can't do. And they kill us all the time, right or wrong.
Facts.
They
Definitely.
overcharge us on fees. Things go missing. They play dumb. They don't have customer service. You can't speak to anybody to get any feedback. Like they're people within their company are selling our information to other people to hold you ransom. All right. Financial product expansion. So you're going to expect to see they have crypto 401ks, ETFs, traditional brokerage accounts. All right. Custody is the key to unlocking this. Custody means that if they hold it, they can build products around it. That's the verticals, guys. All right. Regulatory compliance. They have it all from here to every country. So VAT, everything international and in between, they have covered with compliance. Cybersecurity. That's a big one. Wallets, there's stuff going missing on cold storage wallets. We're just trying to figure this thing out. Right? Key management, IT governance, legal and risk framework, assurance, third-party reporting. How big do you think crypto insurance is going to be, champ?
Oh, that's going to be huge.
Oh, okay. And then if crypto insurance companies back their stuff by crypto, how much more stable do you think those insurance companies would be?
Far stable than they are now.
There's no way that we're going to make the same mistakes that we made in the past.
Nope.
These new guys are not in the business of doing that right now. And if I could tell you that when new currency is made, that's when the sheer amount of it is divvied to whoever's paying attention. Right? And at that point, it's still going to be the haves and the have-nots. That's not going to change. But I can tell you there's only one thing in our generation and lifetime that's going to level the playing field in finance. It's going to be this. All right. So why custody now? Asset managers, hedge funds, and CFOs are moving into the market. They're the one asking for it. All right. Global inflation is pushing the capital towards crypto. As one is collapsing, the other one's the lifeline. That's why we say get the money out the banks. And if you could read in between the lines, just think about the last thing that I said. Institutions need reliable partners, not these DeFi protocols called Pink Monkey and all this other stuff. Reliable partners. PwC is built for trust and scale. All right. Crypto is no longer just for early adopters, guys. We're past that stage already. Institutional infrastructure like custody makes it safer and more valuable. All right. So that means that these boomers, that's all they need right now. Once they hear PricewaterhouseCoopers, you know what they say? Give me 10 million on that. Give me 5 million on that. And before you know it, shit's running out. The big money hasn't even come into the market yet. Whatever. They paying attention in the chat?
They are.
All right. So they don't have direct crypto custody services yet, but the framework is being built. And before the end of the month, I'm going to figure out who they're using. And I spoke to these guys on 2 occasions in regards to custodying XRP and the type of information that you can get off the phone from these guys. And I would encourage all you guys to do the same. They don't know how much you got in cryptocurrency. You just let them know, listen, I'm well invested in this and I need to know what you can do for me, and just watch where the conversation goes.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be fighting for this crypto wealth, because when you look at a $3 trillion market, once they bring it up to 30, guess who's taking the money on the tail end of that?
Who?
Who? Exactly. First movers advantage.
Talk that talk.
Now, here's the roles that they're going to play: advisory and strategy services. All right. They're going to be consultants. So when you understand what they're invested in, guess what they're going to sell the clients on? What they're invested in.
Mm-hmm.
Chainlink. That's a project. And think about it. If I'm dropping it now, just connect the dots. All right. If you don't know what to do with it, you need to go back to the course, and we have a how to read crypto projects. And then we have CoinMarketCap. We have watch lists. It tells you everywhere and how to buy it. Chainlink is what's holding this whole thing together. Institutions love this one. What's the price now, champ?
A Chainlink in real time.
Market intelligence reports. All right. And I've read this too, guys. You guys should go there and get it. The State of Digital Asset Custody. This is going back to like 2023. The joint is old.
$13.94.
Chainlink. So anything else? Let me see. Guys, I don't know about you, but I can tell you that the trust and the fact that you can say crypto is legit is right here. Same old players, new game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I can tell you one thing about these players that they all have in common is they love to run the score up. Like, none of these guys are losers on paper when it comes down to like how fast they could make capital. So if Trump is doing about $1 billion a month right now, think about it. He don't even have to put up no real estate. He doesn't have to go to a bank to ask for no money. They are printing money out of thin air.
That sounds familiar.
There's no rules and regulations. And then he tells you that you can't even do anything to AI for the next 10 years. I'm like, all right, I see where it's going. So safer custody infrastructure is here. Standard regulations are here. We already broke down the future of banking and what your new banks are going to look like in that talk that Champ might have dropped already. They're going to start to onboard. This is the onboarding of the traditional finance system as we know it today, guys. That means wealth pension managers, money managers, hedge funds, you name it, the wealthiest guys in the world. And then on top of that, guess who else has to come? Because when the pressure is all over the world with this inflation situation, the big money's there. That's the real money. The Saudis, the UAE, that's the M2. It's already, the system's already built, guys. They just haven't been connected yet. Guess when they get connected? Ironically, one of them. July 14th, next Monday.
Yep, absolutely.
Systems go live. So if you've heard of ISO, everybody keeps yelling that ISO shit. Welcome. Welcome.
Whoa. Super gem. I hope y'all paid attention to that.
And if you're not in the 1%, I could tell you that we can save you time and just fast track you. But if you want to wait in the lines at Disney and wait for everybody else to get on the ride and you're still waiting, no problem. Time is money. And we've been in this for 10 years, so we're giving you time back. All you have to do is just take the courses, validate what we say, connect the dots, read the papers, put it through ChatGPT, let them kind of, give you a brief write up of whatever it is, and just I'm telling you guys, it's here. The wild part that and I'm kind of waiting for this transition from seeing a lot of the early students and how much they thought it was like Chinese and then came out of it. Really, for me, is we've already retired people years ago, right? We created millionaires with like Dogecoin. It was dumb. Um, I've seen, I've literally seen people retire. I've taught people one on one, right? Then seeing this next wave and knowing that I know some of the wallets of people that I've worked with that still have it to this day. And knowing that at the same time that I see something, they see something. And we got a pact to come back together because we kind of all on the same school of thought. So there's opportunity all over the world for us. Just waiting at this point now. So I'm telling y'all, between 6 to 12 months, if y'all want to get some passports in another country like South America who doesn't have nuclear weapons that have never been in no problems with nobody, you have to start looking at the geopolitics of the world. So when I'm getting up and I'm getting on the first train smoking out of here, that's because I see something that's about to happen way later. And then you guys are going to look back and say, damn, you know what? He did tell us that we should have been investing in second passports. And guys, second passports is not a luxury anymore. It's like a matter of life and death for some people. I'm telling you, this country is fast forwarding to the point where it's like it is erasing its own job market. It's biting its face every day. So now what? 300 million jobs wiped out. Now what? Oh, yeah, I want to buy gold now at 10,000 an ounce. No, you better leverage the cash that's coming out of these banks right now, the money that they're lending out. If you play that stuff correctly, and I hated to say this, but I have a funding guy that I'm gonna bring on here. For responsible people only. And I'm telling you, this ain't gonna be like one of these people like killing you and doing all this other stuff. If anybody's interested in a funding situation, just put a one in the chat, and it's you're not taking this to go pay bills and consolidate to then go get business. No, I'm telling you, 6 to 12 months, you're gonna be responsible with the situation and make sure you take out what you could afford. How are they looking with the funding side? And most of you are from funding groups, so you guys understand the power of it. It's just when I was at the first Herman Summit, drop a 2 in the chat if anybody's from Herman's group, and a lot of them came on just the other day. So when we did that Blueprint Summit, and I was telling you guys on stage like to get out of Airbnb and the Turo and all that other stuff, I wasn't saying it like for the moment. I was kind of giving you a forewarning. And that video would never. It took me a while to even go back to look at it because I just didn't want to like revisit it. And then when I watched it, I was like, damn, this shit was all right. Because I knew how I took the air out of the room. I'm Ryan. I'm lying, champ.
Nah, that's a fact. Everybody put their pens
If
and
you can
pads
pull that
down.
joint up too, if you can pull it up, we have it on our YouTube channel. Yo,
Yeah.
listen, I pulled the air out of the room. There was literally people that was slamming their books. Oh man, get this guy out of here. I just invested in a truck. Now look what happened. It's,
They were
I'm
forewarned.
telling you guys, you got to look at the cycle. I've been doing this for 30 years, 3 decades. And I wasn't even like really in on cycles like that. But when I look back at all of it, I'm able to make it all up now. Now I'm seeing it. I'm like, oh shit, this is really cycles. When you can read cycles, you can move in and out of certain places. And I'm not
Facts.
saying follow. I'm telling you, you could carve your own space and your own world out. There's just too much blood in the water in America, guys. And I'm gonna end with this one. When I enter this country, I'm telling you, I am coming to take as much, and I'm talking about taking in the sense of like taking and coming back to America. Like, no, solidifying my name and the genius that I would bring to a greater community, and it just flip that whole tourism market upside down. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna watch the whole shit be built right in front of y'all. And next year, 2026, we are doing our first in person, well, international in person is going to be at the resort. So we're going to start to put all stuff out there before fourth quarter. Whoever invested with us initially first, you guys have first dibs, and then everybody else, you're going to be up the street somewhere. But you'll
Yep.
still be in for the day. You just can't stay the night overnight. And my wife laughing. It's just like that. I got to be fair. Um, with that said, guys, I'm telling you, man, like there's no better time to be alive if you could just stay off the news cycle, because they damn near suck me in too at times. You know what I'm saying? Fall back from that. It's just a movie. You know what I mean? It's a bad movie at that. And I'm not saying be uninformed. I'm just telling you, like, don't let the emotions of like everything that's happening throw you off your axis, because that's part of the play too. I'm
100%.
thoroughly convinced. I was just talking to Lance about this shit, and I'm like, and I can identify that I'm part of this goofy shit too. I just can't ignore it. Yeah, it's like, yo, this shit is like, it could affect you.
Mhm.
So I'm on WhatsApp, I'm on IG, but I'm taking a little bit of time off initially just to kind of reset before I get to work. Actually, we got work to do on Sunday. But I'll be resetting for the most part. So understand, guys, the name of the game when we bring on Lance is going to be how to protect your assets from Uncle Sam and things that are totally legal. It's just a matter of being informed. And the reason that we're doing this stuff now is because when the wealth comes, you want to already have these vehicles set up and at your disposal, because you know what they're going to do? They're going to change them. They're going to change the game. So that 800 credit score, yeah, take a picture of it now, because it won't matter. It
Mhm.
fucking won't matter. I'm telling you.
Real
Print a
talk.
picture of that thing. You're gonna be like, damn, y'all had credit. Credit's gonna be like the dial-up phone. It just won't matter. If you don't have assets, it won't matter. And it's sad because black people just mastered it just now.
Mhm.
First
Yep.
in, first out.
Just now.
Take them away, champ. Stop
Yeah.
buying them trucks. Stop.
Real talk. He gave it on stage. He gave it to y'all again in person. So, um, Steve, you got anything else to tell him about Luminara?
Nah, I'm not even doing that. But I can share this with you guys. I could tell you that I can tell you that the closer you get to whatever you're looking to do, that this is the first project that actually really has me, and not even scared, just I'm not prepared for that test the way I usually prepare for most tests. You know what I'm saying? It was the first time I had to trust, an attorney, trust an architect, trust, like put so much trust in people, right? Because I'm learning, right? Most times I come in kind of already knowing and being able to like bring some skill set into it. I can tell you that in the last 2, maybe 3 weeks, I have been tested so much when it's come down to this particular project right here, and not even in a bad way. Just in it's like it's finally what I needed. You know what I'm saying? Something to like make me think where I don't even have an answer for it. I just got to look over and just leave it in somebody else's hands, bro. I have never operated from a space like that before. And I'm gonna get a little bit more personal with that when we set up a separate group. And I'm just gonna be documenting so much from start to wherever I'm at that point now. I got so much to unload in that. But nah, that situation, I'll I'll handle that a different way. Yeah. But
That's
it's 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 um it's gonna be a movie, put it that way. And here's another
well.
thing. So I have a housemate that I'm hiring now. And just to give you guys the rate, right? So she'll come in and I have to do the schedule to see what day she'll cook, right? So let's just say it's like $13 a day. It's from 7 to 5. It's like cooking and cleaning. It's setting up your menu. So just the cost of living when you just think about what we're really putting this country to do at the end of the day. So you telling me if they cutting jobs and we barely could afford shit, then what the fuck are we gonna be eating
Mhm.
when they control universal basic income and the money flow? I'll tell you what, you're gonna be eating some Z-Bugs. They're gonna have you
Mhm.
eating all types of fake protein. Shit gonna be like 79 cents a pound. You're gonna love it. You're gonna be fucked out here.
Mhm.
Telling you, two types of people coming up, useful and useless. That's been one of my classics. I've been using that since the academy first started. Either way, whether you make a decision on it or not, it's already being made for you. Think about that. Time, date, and stamp that one. This one gonna age well. I'll be on though. Quiet.
My God. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know we have a lot of new members. Thank you, Steve, for killing that right there. This guy right here that we have pinned up, this is Lance Johnstone. Lance, I'm going to give you the floor, right? I'm going to let you introduce yourself. I'm going to ask you a couple questions, but I want you guys to understand that this guy is a wealth of knowledge, right? He's a contributor for Skyton Academy. He's been with us for quite some time. Close friend of Steve's, close friend of mine as well. And he is about to give you guys a ton of value. Inside of the chat, I already dropped a link to the main live talk, so I don't want to waste too much time and ask some of the same redundant questions, but this is going to be somewhat of a refresher. So before we even dive into that, Lance, basically just tell everybody who you are, give them a little bit of your background, and then we'll get into why you're here today.
No problem. Thanks for having me again.
Yes, sir.
Um, I was with Steve over the weekend and decided to come back on to kind of touch base. I know a few people that's probably on this was on the last time I was on and maybe wondering, what happened to me. And then he also informed me there's a lot of new members as well, just trying to get them in this thing. So since the last time I was on, well, let me give you a quick background for those who are new. My cat trying to get in the door. Um, yeah, my name is Lance Johnstone. Born and raised here in Philadelphia. Uh, went to Temple University. Was fortunate enough to be drafted in the NFL back in '96. Played 11 years in the NFL with the Raiders and the Vikings. When I retired, I went into wealth management at Merrill Lynch, which was bought by Bank of America. So I was a wealth advisor with a Series 7s insurance license. Did that for a handful of years, and then went into private equity. Um, did that for a while. Still kind of in it, but not with a formal group like I was before. When I stopped doing that, I started managing a few of my clients. When I was at Merrill Lynch, mostly all my clients was other NFL and NBA players. Okay, so when I left Merrill, went to private equity, a lot of them I was working with them in private equity. When I left that group, I just started managing, I think it was three guys, just dealing with their stuff more intensely. And my own personal stuff. All right, so that's the quick background. Um, so with those experiences, it brought me a lot into the world of stocks and bonds, trading, and wealth management is also part of wealth protection, right? The first rule in wealth management is protect what you have first, right? Before we go into growing and buying new things, the first rule was to protect what you already have, right? Even if that's just cash. So in that process, working with these guys as their uh, wealth manager, financial advisor, I had to work with a lot of their other advisors, right? To build a plan from their agent, um, their CPAs, and their estate planners, with my role as the financial manager. So I got to see a lot, how it worked, what didn't work, and so on and so forth. Fast forward to I'm kind of out of that world and then to, kind of doing my own thing. started going down the rabbit hole of what a lot of people call, the sovereign citizen thing, or working kind of outside of, um, the man, statutory stuff, and learn a little bit more about that side, the private life. I've been down that rabbit hole for about 7 years, just comparing and contrasting to what I was trained and learned from doing it on the other side, and then learning this new stuff. So, I've had probably a half a dozen teachers in that movement. I don't really like the term sovereign citizen because it's really an oxymoron, and it's, a lot of other stuff that it incorporates. But what it did do was allow me to really pull back the curtain and see the whole scope of things, right? The private side and the public side, right? And where they meet and how to operate in the best capacity in one space or other, right? A lot of us are used to working on the public side, right? That's kind of what we've been conditioned to do. And you kind of got to learn the private side on your own. There's no real formal, outside of, some of these, so-called gurus out there, there's no real formal training over there. So that's why I'm still down that rabbit hole. I pop up for air every once in a while, like I am today, to kind of share what I've learned. And I've been mostly doing it just with friends and family, and now with you guys.
Yeah, now we greatly appreciate you for taking that time and that energy to devote to these wonderful members we have. Now with the experiences that you had and basically the transition from football to finance,
Mhm.
what is one of the, I guess, the biggest challenges or realizations that pushed you to take action?
The biggest real, I don't know if I mentioned this last time. I had a situation with my mortgage, where I had like 2 years left to pay off a mortgage, and it got sold to some, small company. I went from having a bank to this LLC sending me a letter saying, okay, we took over your mortgage. Here's your new payment. Right. So I was paying like $2,800 a month on my mortgage. They hit me with a letter saying, okay, we took over your new payment. It was like 990 some dollars. I'm like, bet. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I start paying it. Few months go by, they hit me with another letter like, oh yeah, you should have been paying this, the 2,800. Now we want the difference. Are we going to foreclose? And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. So then I went and I hired a lawyer. And this guy was, it was a pretty big law firm. And they started kind of agreeing with them. And I'm like, yo, no one's kind of understanding what the issue was. So that's when I kind of went down on my own and said, you know what, I've heard, because I had been hearing this stuff on the fringes. So I said, let me go down here and start doing this stuff myself. So that was the catalyst. Um, And I fought them for 2 years, trying different things, learning different stuff, just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I was successful in some, not successful in all. Long story short, the reason I was able to fight them with such confidence, I knew I had enough, cash and money in the bank to just pay the rest of it off. So I said, I'm gonna take it as far as I can, which I did, all the way up until, they was about to foreclose, going in court, the whole thing. Um, So I end up paying it off. But during that process of learning, it kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things. So that was the catalyst. And then I also had a situation with the IRS, for some money that I had pulled out of one of my retirement accounts. They hit me with a big tax bill. It was like $24,000. And if I didn't pay it by a certain date, they was like, you're gonna be tax court or whatever. But by this time, I'm already down this rabbit hole learning different stuff. So I was able to reach out to another guy that was pretty savvy in the stuff and got a whole process of dealing with the IRS. And I end up, I'm gonna say win, but it's not like nothing. They don't get you no letter like, hey, you won. They just don't mess with me no more after I went through the process. I never had to pay the 24,000. Never went to court. They stopped sending me letters, and everything went away after I went through the process. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm on to something here. So that's kind of my journey of how I got started.
Yeah. And just so we clear, no knocks on the door, none of that.
Nah, no knocks on the door, no more letters. The letters I did get, I had learned the process of how to deal with them and send stuff back. And I haven't heard that. That was back in 2019. It's been at least 6 years.
6 years, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's it. Now, again, we do have a lot of new members that just came in, right? So for anybody, this is their first time ever hearing about a 508c1a. Can you basically break this down to them in simple terms?
Yeah, no problem. I mean, first, just to get an idea, I guess you guys could put a one in the chat, because I know it's a lot of stuff on social media of people who've heard of a 508c3. It's like it's a couple ones. It's getting pretty popular on social media. I mean, I'm in the algorithm now, so I'm constantly getting bombarded with it. And I'm also asked if drop a two in there if any of you guys have actually used one of those products or are using one of those products of somebody you might have seen.
I don't see no, I don't
Yeah,
see
I
it.
don't see none either.
Good.
Kind of good and bad. I mean, it's not really bad. It's really mostly good.
Mhm.
Um, Now I've been dealing with these 508s. Or let me give you a quick background. A 50 for those who don't know, 508c1a is the code. It's an IRS code that says if you form a church, matter of fact, Champ, I'm gonna post. Can I post something in there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me go to the chat real quick. Where do you hit the post? The paper file, yeah.
It should be like an arrow little symbol. Once you attach that file to paper with the folded edge, just select your file and then just hit the arrow.
It's just a quick nothing that's showing up.
Yep, just see
All
it.
right, just so you guys to have it.
Yeah, everybody download that, partake in that.
Yeah, and it's just a quick overview and just to give you a little bit of more background on it. So 50c1a is the code for a church and what they call and its auxiliaries, right? So when you form a church, it falls under this code. And what that does, it automatically makes you tax exempt, which means normally when someone goes and forms a nonprofit, you have to get permission from the government. After you form it, you have to file for them to give you a letter. I think it's called dang, I just saw it. But it's basically you get a letter from the IRS saying that you've been approved to be a nonprofit, and now people can write off what they contribute to you. But when your nonprofit is a church, you don't have to go through that filing, which is every year. You get the initial letter, but every year you got to file I think it's called the 1023 form and the 990 with the IRS, and they'll look at it and say, okay, you can continue to be a nonprofit. Like, so you gotta get okayed every year. When it's a church, you're automatically exempt and there's no filing requirements. Right? So you don't have to file the 1023, I believe it is, or the 990 annually. Now you can if you want, but you're not obligated to. Okay. So you don't have to worry about those things. All right. Now there's a few ways you can form this church. I'm not gonna go into them deep now because this isn't I think next week or so we're gonna do the actual formal offering of everything. I just wanted to kind of touch base with those that was on and the new people. So it makes you, and I'm gonna say it's 98% that you ain't gotta report taxes. The reason is not 100%. There's something called a UBIT. It's called unrelated business income tax, right? So it's saying that because even though you're automatically tax exempt, you still have to follow the rules of a 501c3, right? Outside of filing, all the other rules you got to kind of follow. And the unrelated business income tax is basically saying if you bring in an income that's not related to the church, then that's taxable. Okay. Here's the caveat to that. You have to self-report. Okay, so we'll go over that in the next class, what that really means.
Yeah.
You was gonna ask something, Champ?
Yeah, just quick. Outside of like the tax exemptions, what are some of the protections or the benefits? And just in brief, you don't gotta go, lengthy. I just kind of want to.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing in this is the tax exemption. Okay. What I'm gonna talk about next, the three biggest things in setting up structures when I was dealing with my clients, and you rate what they're trying to get, right? The first one is asset protection. Then you have privacy. Some people don't like stuff in their name, especially the kind of individuals I was dealing with. And then you have tax saving, right? Those are usually your three main ones. The church, the tax is at the top, okay? Depending on what structure you use is going to determine the privacy and the asset protection, okay? And that's just with the 508 by itself. What I'm going to be showing you guys is how to use the 508 alongside of a LLC, right, to gain all the protections, because the 508 does not have as strong as asset protections as the LLC. It has a lot, but it really depends on what state. It's going to vary from state to state. There's about 18 states that have really written it into their laws for the assets protection, right? So that can vary. It also does give you privacy because it's two out of the three ways you can set it up, you're not registering with the government, right? You don't have to go through them to get incorporated or anything like that. So that gives you the privacy aspect, and then it gives you the tax aspect, right? But because it lacks a little bit, it gives you asset protection, but because it's very state to state, you can layer it with the LLC And the LLC has to be, the operating agreement and resolutions have to be properly written to really, boost the benefits of both of them being together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
So there was
that's how we're going to set up. And a lot of people are just really selling the 508 by itself,
Mm-hmm.
which is okay. It's just not, in my belief, the absolute best, right? And everything that I'm doing, because when I've been using this 508, I've been using it for myself, my wife, my brother. This is the first time I'm really bringing it to a group like this.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the reasons you guys that heard this before, I kind of, not it hasn't come up yet, is because I've been down the rabbit hole since, right? Getting documents reviewed by experts back and forth, really trying to hone this thing in. So, because that's just the world I come from. Like, those people had a lot to protect, not just their money, but their reputation, right? And it's the same here because Steve Champ is bringing me into this group and bringing it into a bigger group. I wanted to make this as strong as possible to give you guys those same type of safety valves.
Yeah. Now, I listen. I think to give everybody context. So the last time Lance was on a platform, this was back in April, right? So when he says that he's been down a rabbit hole, today is July 8th. Just understand like how thorough he is. And the reason I wanted to highlight that is because one, not only did he come and bring value, right? This is a refresher to give everybody the full gist of where he's going. Definitely watch that replay from the original call, right? It was interview style, and we kind of ran through the gamut. So you'll have full understanding before you get off the call, pretty much of what exactly it is, the benefits, who it can serve, who it benefits, how you're supposed to operate, how long the process takes, etc. Right? But what I need you guys to truly understand is this guy is not only telling you he's protecting you, but he's showing you through actual implementation and research and knowledge. He even used other resources that was, higher than to double back and bring it to you all. This is the power, right? This is the power of Skyton Academy. We don't vet anybody like the way we do our people that come on this platform. Everyone who comes here is 100% vetted. So when they come and they bring value like this, you gotta understand how powerful it is. So do not let this fly over your head. Don't like let this kind of go in one ear and out the other. This is important, right?
Yo,
Talk to them.
one thing that wasn't added was the crypto twist, right? So we're going to show you guys, we've been constructing a plan on how to um, operate crypto through these vehicles
Mm-hmm.
in the LLC, meaning even your cold storage wallets being owned by the LLC.
Right,
I'm going to mess around and find out.
right, because that's all part of the asset protection, and it's also part of um, the legacy, right? Mostly, I'm going to assume here, but mostly everybody on this is not just thinking about themselves, but the people that they're loved with, right? How this gets passed down, how it get used while we're here, how it's going to get used if we're not here, or for some reason, are God forbid, incapacitated while we're here, right? That the brains can be passed on with a structure, right? Um, so that's what I thought. That's been my whole thinking of doing it. I got 3 kids myself, right? So um, I'm trying to build it to where I'm not trying to build it. I'm building it to where not just I understand it, right? Because you know, a lot in this world, especially when you go down this private side of doing things, the person learning it can be skilled with a lot of this knowledge, right? But the people we're trying to help, the people we're doing it for, doing it with, may not be as skilled in those nuances of, you know, law and a lot of stuff. You gotta know what you're talking about to defend it. And you know, you may have people around you, your loved ones, not interested in it, you know, think you the tin hat man and all of this, right? So you got to find that middle ground. Are your kids getting it 10, 20 years from now and don't know how to operate it, right? They're going to end up taking it to a lawyer or somebody to help them, right? So it has to be able to make all of those marks, right? Protect you, you know, have protect you in the private, protect you in the public, and being able to um, stand the trials of going into a court. You know, somebody may have to hire a lawyer to defend it one way or the other. And a lot of things, which really been on, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are following a lot of this type of stuff. We kind of get into this mode of um, us being the victim, right? Us, you know, we're worried about, you know, the government doing this to us. You know, so we're building this fortress to protect ourselves, and we forget sometimes that we may have to go after somebody ourselves, right?
That's true.
Right. So, because when we out and doing business, doing stuff, we may have to go after somebody. So, um, you kind of get caught in that world sometimes, like, oh, I don't need the court, the judge is this, the courts ain't real, the lawyers is this. And a lot of that is true. But at the end of the day, it's going to end up somewhere when you have a dispute. Either somebody bringing a dispute to you and you're defending it, or you're the one complaining about somebody else. It's going to end up in one of these courts, right? That's really the only mechanism that we have. So when you're in those situations, it has to be able to stand up in that without knowing all these special terms, right? Because there's certain people that can go in there and just, you know, nail the judge, do this, and flip the whole thing upside down. But the majority of people can't, right? Especially in these situations. And a lot of times, even the people that know the knowledge, once they get in that courtroom, will freeze the hell up.
Absolutely.
You know, once, you know, because they know what they're doing too. So to kind of get around all of that, you got to kind of have a public face, right? With private ownership. And that's basically what we're going to end up building.
So essentially, everybody's gonna learn how to control everything but own nothing.
Correct. Correct. Own very little, at least in your personal name, right? So, um, and checking off those boxes, protection, privacy, and tax saving.
No, nah, that's it. That's it. So there was a couple questions. I don't want to keep everybody for too long. But there was a couple questions that was inside the chat. Um, someone asked, hold on, give me 1 second.
I see somebody put I can always struggle with that word. Irrevocable trust. Yes, irrevocable trust does give you a lot of these protections, right? And this is it's one of the ways you can set up a 508, right? The trust is just more complicated, right? It takes more administrative, more people within your camp knowing what they're doing, right? So it definitely, and it also has to be written right? Because one little slip up in there, and they can break through it. But a trust is definitely one of the strongest vehicles, and it can be active. And we're gonna work our way to a trust. Right, not gonna start off there.
Mhm.
There's still some stuff I want to cross off because it's not as easy as getting a template off a line dealing with a trust as people may think. You know,
100%.
it works all good until you end up in a situation.
Yeah. No, that was good. So Justin did ask something that I think was important. He said, can you basically harbor other businesses within it, like other LLCs?
Yes, yes. So basically, the setup that we're going to start off with is the the church will own the LLC, right? And there's different ways it can do it by itself with others. So yes, and it can own more than one,
Yeah.
right? And then the LLC is kind of going to be your public facing entity, right? And that means one that you can start up. It could be one that you already have. You may just have to amend your operating agreement and write up a couple resolutions. So you can use the current one, or you can, start up a new one.
Right. Awesome.
You know.
Uh, Sounds like irrevocable, fantastic. Yeah, so now I think that was pretty much it. You touched. Someone did ask, was there any member requirements?
Say that again.
Someone asked, was there any member requirements?
For the church, no. Um, it, the the biggest requirement, it has to be more than one person, right? So it has to be at least two people, right? When two people come and bring up his name, he's there, right? That's church, right? Me and Champ could be somewhere on his back porch just talking. We're having church, right? Um, this is going to be more formless on paperwork. So there's two people agreeing on paperwork to start this entity. Now, having members solidifies it more. Again, like if you end up in those situations, it doesn't have to be a big congregation. It could be 3, 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have the ability to keep that list private. You don't have to share your members list, right? But again, if you're in these situations, it works out more in your favor if you do have members, but it is not a requirement.
Yeah. All right, cool.
And
And
I
then
saw somebody say, can they turn their trust into an LLC? No, a trust is a trust. They're two different entities. Now, your trust can own a LLC,
correct.
but you not turn it into a LLC. And then I see another one. Do I need a LLC to form a 508? You do not. You do not. You can have a 508 by itself. You can operate it by itself. The trust just adds a layer of protection, and it also adds a layer of having an entity when you're dealing with banks. You're going, and other things. A lot of people aren't used to dealing with those entities, right? It's going to be an unincorporated religious organization. And a lot of people don't, you'll see the drop downs. A lot of them not going to have those, they're not used to dealing with them. So that's kind of where the LLC comes into play. And the LLC doesn't have to be the church. It can be anything that you're doing business at, right? But instead of you owning that LLC, the church, your church owns the LLC. You control the church, which controls the LLC. If that makes any sense. And because the LLC is a pass-through entity, the tax obligation of the LLC is falls down to the tax obligation of its owner. And when its owner is a church, right, what's the tax liability of the church? There is none,
Mm-hmm.
right? Outside the UBIT, and that's something you're gonna have to figure out. But I'll go through that more when we actually do the formal offering and offering this whole package, you guys. I think Steve said next week, even next week or the week after that. But whenever
Hmm.
it is, I'll have the whole thing a little bit more formal for you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Now, listen, that was super informative, great refresher. Greatly appreciate you coming in and letting people know, like, you've been in the trenches, you've been in the mud,
Yeah, I ain't
did,
forgot about y'all.
connecting those dots. Yeah, man. That's always great to hear. But he's been showing improving. Like every single time we chime in, he's down a rabbit hole. So this is incredible. Thank you so much, Lance. Greatly appreciate that. Um, guys, I want you guys to show him some good love inside the chat, like you guys are doing. Let him feel that love, and Lance will definitely be back with us. I want you guys to stay on the call. I got some gems I'm gonna give y'all. I'm in my spot bag. I'm gonna connect a little dot because this is members only. So, I'm gonna do what I do. But Lance, you could kick it with us if you want to.
Yeah, yeah, I'm staying on, man. I'm staying
All
on for sure.
right, bet. Nah, that's what I like to hear, man. Anything you wanna leave them with before you go?
Mm, nah, not really. I think I hit on what every little the stuff I want to do now. I'll save it all for next time. But appreciate y'all hearing me out. Appreciate all the fires and the good emojis I'm getting. So, you
Yeah,
know, glad I ain't spending my time in the rap hole. Well, it wouldn't have been for nothing because it's really helped me even amend some of my own. When I got new information, I had to add it even to my own documents, right? So my document or where I started, because I first bought one of these for somebody back in 2000. What was it? Ran around right before the pandemic, 19 or 20, and um, you know that what I got from him and what I have now is worlds apart, right? Not saying it was a bad. Well, it kind of was. When I had it reviewed, it was a lot of holes in it
yeah.
to where I'm at now, right? So, you know,
And that's one of those things. So me asking that question of did you want to leave them with something? So this is basically what I was alluding to. Like you see this in your ether, right? This is something that you do, but just the nature of the beast. They're tracking everything that we do. So when we're talking about something or we're conversing about something and we say something, these smart devices, these laptops, whatever, this is what they do. They're taking the data and they're compiling it, and then now they're feeding you with that same similar information, right? It's just
mhm.
basically part of the algorithm. Now, there's a lot of people on social media who might buy a course from somebody and then they are just basically regurgitating something. They didn't put no energy, no effort into it. Some people didn't even do this, right? They didn't partake in it whatsoever, but they're teaching it. They have a platform, they have an audience, and then people buy into the person, right? Or the hype behind something because of what you laid out. This is real deal. Lance, you've done this countless times, right or wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's still sharpening his sword. So
Yeah, and
this
I'm
is
not gonna stop. Even, after this, I'm gonna still stay on it. And as stuff evolves, I'll bring it back to the group. Like, guys, we need to make this adjustment. We need to make this. Or here's something new. So, um, you can't never just rest, you know, and think that you got stuff figured out. Right? That's when
Mhm.
you get sucker punched.
Absolutely. Man, appreciate you to the core, Lance.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro.
Big
Appreciate
salute.
everybody on the call.
My God. All right, so I'm gonna get into something. I'm gonna give you guys some context, get you guys right, get out your pen and pads, because now's the time I need you guys to really pay attention to what's about to go down. All right, so how do I want to approach this? All right, so there was some news that came out today, right? And this was just a couple hours ago. And it was basically about Trump's Truth Social, right? This is a social media platform that he utilizes just like Twitter, right? It's just like X. You basically go on, you tweet however many characters, you say what you need to say, right? And the whole premise behind it is at the time, there were other social media platforms that were essentially muting people, right? Putting a muzzle on what you can and can't say. Now, we come from the school of thought of we do what we want to do, right? But we do understand that when you're on these platforms, you fall under their rules and, whatever their terms and conditions are. So, long story short, the news came out today that the Truth Social filed an S1 with the SEC. So basically, what they're doing is they're launching an ETF full of blue chip cryptocurrencies. Now, Steve mentioned this one phrase when he was talking about PwC, and his first move is advantage. Now, I'm gonna break some facts and figures down for you guys, and then I'm gonna tell you how to play that comes with this, right? So in the ETF, cut and dry, the cryptocurrencies that was included, the composition of that ETF was Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Kronos, and XRP. Now, do me a favor, drop a one in the chat if you've heard of any of these 5 cryptocurrencies. I'm just curious. Now I'm taking inventory. All right. So ton of ones. All right, now do me this solid. Y'all hold off. Drop a 3 in the chat right now if you own any of those cryptocurrencies. Right now. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Now, for the people who do not have any crypto, you have not invested whatsoever, and this is just new news to you, drop a 5 in the chat. And it's no dig. I'm just taking inventory. I just need to know who I'm talking to. Awesome. Okay. That's it. Okay. That's what I like to see. So it's a good amount of people who don't hold any of these, right? You don't hold any crypto. And I am aware that there's many people that are new here. What I need you guys first and foremost to do, I'm giving you guys this information because this is going to help you move and navigate in the space, right? Being informed helps you make calculated decisions. This is not for FOMO purposes. Do not FOMO. FOMO is the fear of missing out. This is when you just don't do any research. You have no context about nothing. You just see something, you hear something, you immediately rush to go buy it, right? Don't do that. Every single person that dropped 5s, what I want you guys to do is make sure you get through these courses immediately. Take your time, but get through them. Keep pushing. And we definitely salute you guys because we see the facts and figures. We see that a lot of the new people that came into the academy, you guys are killing it. So keep doing what you're doing. Get through those courses. Be intentional, right? The reason being is because it's going to give you all the foundational information you need for information like this. So now you know how to move correctly. It's not just about hearing a project and going to buy it. You got to know how to secure it, where to go to look for it, to buy it, what exchanges to use. You have to be set up on those exchanges, etc. All of that stuff is in the courses. Get through it. All right. So, full circle. Now that you guys know what is going to be encompassed, right? What blue chips they're referring to. I noticed something. The allocation between Bitcoin and Ethereum, right, is the biggest allocation that they have. It's about 80 to 85%, right? So that's a huge number. Now, the smaller stakes was Solana. It had about 8%. Kronos, which is crypto.com's utility token. It's a exchange token. That is going to be 5%, right? And then you've got 2% for XRP. Now, when you hear this, the crypto side, this is how you can play this 2 different ways. First side is going to be you get into these cryptocurrency projects, right? Because what it's showing you is that on the ETF side, these are major cryptocurrencies that actually have utility. They do things, right? And they already have visibility and popularity. They're on major exchanges. They have huge trading pairs. People can get to them, right? So that's the first things first. So on the crypto side, all you basically would have to do instead of having exposure from an ETF, you can just go and invest in these cryptocurrencies, right? Not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I know. Now, in this information, I dug deeper. Kronos has a partnership with Trump and Worldwide Liberty, right? Now, the biggest thing with that is he is huge on DeFi. DeFi is decentralized finance. What he's going to do is he is going to utilize these exchanges to be able to have trading pairs. He's going to be able to he's going to have trading pairs with his USD1, which is his stable coin, where people are going to be able to invest, use it to invest in other cryptocurrencies or purchase cryptocurrencies, etc. Right? Now, this is how you start to connect the dots. I only know this because I went down a rabbit hole. I'm looking at this exchange token and I'm like, okay, people couldn't buy Worldwide Liberty, but what they can buy is the stable coin. Now that they can buy the stable coin, what he's going to do is he's going to pair that stable coin because that is going to be the entry point to DeFi. He has products and services that he is going to launch, and the only way you're going to be able to get into them is utilizing his stablecoin or these type of blue chip cryptocurrencies. So not only can you use these, the demand for them is going to skyrocket and increase because in order for you to access what he's going to have available to you, people are going to need these cryptocurrencies. All right. So that was the first things first. And second thing I want to tell you guys is this matters is because this is the first ETF of its kind with these cryptocurrencies in them, right? There are existing US ETFs currently right now, but they only focus really on Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Never having all of these other vehicles. So in terms of accessibility, this thing is definitely, I can see it 100%. This thing is going to get approved, right? And then now, some people who are on the stock side or they're just not able to kind of get into this crypto side, they're kind of fearful, scared. They're going to be on the outside, but this still gives them direct exposure to these cryptocurrencies. Now, this is what we've been waiting for because we got rules and regulations coming. And then now you have huge exposure on the blue chips. This is outside of just Bitcoin and Ethereum. So now you're going to get huger demand, huger use. This is going to be more users that come in. This is going to be, this is what you call the push for mass adoption. So this means more people are going to come in with more capital. And where are they going to go? They're going to go into these same cryptocurrency projects that's inside this ETF. So everybody who put inside the chat, the one that they hold these cryptocurrencies, what do you think that's going to do ultimately to the price and the value of what you're holding? It's going to increase. It's going to skyrocket. And this is what Steve was referring to. Bitcoin did the same thing, but there's crypto projects right now that are on the brink of launch. I'm telling you guys, you cannot BS. This is why we are urging everybody to hurry up, get through those courses so you can really get busy. And I've seen this question about 100 times inside the chat. Everybody keeps asking, piggybacking off what Steve said. He mentioned that there was a big event that's about to happen, right? The big event that's about to happen, basically there's a huge change and a huge shift in the systems that we're all using. The connection points are with a bunch of cryptocurrencies. I don't need to go into details with them. Everybody that's inside the 1%, you already know what time it is, and we got a 1% call this Saturday. All right, so I'm gonna send out that email for you all. But if you're not in the 1%, you definitely want to speed up your time. You definitely want to get into that 1% because I'm going to talk about it this Saturday. All right. Now, here's what I need you guys to pay attention to. In the next, and this is going to be rough. There's going to be a window of time. In the next 2 months to about 7 months, the 19B4 filing is what's going to begin for the SEC. So the SEC has improved their process in how long it takes for them to approve something. So in the next 2 to 7 months, we should have approval. We also should have regulatory clarity, right? We had the big, beautiful bill. Then you had all of the other bills and things that were going through the House and the Senate. This is it. This is the moment we all been waiting for. And the investor responses right now, the market is paying attention to all of the moves that Trump is making. Not just Trump, though, but in general. This is a level playing field where all nations are making huge strides and huge partnerships when it comes to artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency. So now you're bringing this global market, this global industry all together, and it's an even playing field. Crypto is about to take off. You guys have to pay attention to what's going on. But this is another glimpse. It's another piggyback telling you of specific projects that are about to take off. Now, here's something else that I want to show you. 1 second. Share my screen with y'all. All right. So let me refresh the page. Money Mike, give me a thumbs up if you can see this. All right, my guy. All right, so what you guys are looking at right here, this is one of the blue chips. I don't know why it's taking forever for the screen to load, but this is CoinMarketCap. This is inside of part 2 of Crypto 101 course for everybody who has not gotten through all the courses yet. This is going to tell you guys exactly, this is a resource tool for you, right? This is going to show you guys how to find cryptocurrency projects, where you can buy them from, trading pairs, etc. We gave you the lessons. We broke all that stuff down for you. So make sure you get through it. Now, this blue chip, look at the price of this. It's 9 cents right now. In the last 24 hours, look at the volume. Look at the percentage of this volume. Almost 1,900% increase. What news just came out today? I just broke it down for y'all. The Truth Social S1 was just filed that had this particular project in it. Now you see how first movers advantage works? News comes out. This is one of the projects that was a part of those 5 crypto projects in that ETF. As soon as this news came out, I seen this and I dropped this inside the academy. As soon as I saw it, I dropped it for everybody. Since I dropped that, the volume is up almost 19%. You see what this thing is doing? It's cheap. It's pennies. It's under 10 cents. Now you hold this and you can use this exchange as well to be able to do stuff. But now if you have this coin in your reserves, right? It's on your cold storage wallet, protected, ready to go. This thing is going to do exactly what other exchange tokens do, because people are going to need it for trading, for yielding, for DeFi, for whatever it is that they're going to do on a platform. It's going to keep going up in value and in price because the demand is about to happen. This is what I wanted to show you guys. So if you don't know anything about it, Kronos is a prime exchange token crypto for anybody to be able to invest in. All you have to do, go to CoinMarketCap, Kronos, type in the name of the project, CRO, right? You can go here, and then you go right here. You figure out where you can buy it from. Click on markets, boom, tells you everywhere. And this is, again, inside the course. So now that you guys got that, I got another gem for y'all. I ain't come empty-handed, right? So this is a new flow. So I need y'all to walk with me. So DeFi is huge. DeFi is the backbone of crypto. And today something came across my ether, right? I saw a couple people talking about it, so I quickly went down a rabbit hole, right? So there is a new decentralized exchange. Crypto.com is a centralized exchange. This that I'm about to mention is a decentralized exchange, and it's called Pineapple Dex. Write this down. Pineapple Dex. The symbol for it is PAPPLE. P-A-P-P-L-E. Right? This is, again, an early stage decentralized exchange, and this has the markings and the makings of the next multi-billion-dollar DeFi protocol, right? Right now, the market cap is under $10 million, meaning that it's super tiny compared to where it could go if people truly adopt this, right? And I'm gonna tell you why this kind of stands out. So first is the big trend behind it. So decentralized finance, again, this is back on a rise. It's back in the attention, um, especially with what Trump was doing with worldwide liberty and what he was going to kind of build and usher in, right? The total value locked in the trading volumes are climbing again. This means a lot of people are now fixated on it, and a lot of money is flowing into decentralized exchanges because people are trying to get into new projects, new platforms, etc. Right? They're early movers. These new platforms solve real world problems and they make DeFi easier for anybody to use, and it's in high demand. So projects like Hyperliquid, they've already proven what's been possible, right? You can capture multi-billion-dollar market caps by basically just offering better trading experiences. And this is what Pineapple Dex is aiming to be the next, right? Second is going to be the actual product itself. So the problem that a lot of people have in trading is it's clunky, it's frustrating. The user experience is not sleek whatsoever. The ecosystem just has a whole bunch of vulnerabilities, right? And problems that come with it because it's decentralized, right? So anybody can essentially build these things. So you want to, when you're searching for them, you want to find someone that's reputable. You want to find good players, a team that's quote unquote called doxed. Basically, you know who they are, right? You can find their information on LinkedIn, you can find their social media accounts, etc. Right? But the big thing that I want to point out for this actual DEX itself, they got limit orders, right? So you can do it gives basically the traders precision to get in and out of your positions, right? At exact price points, right? And it's still decentralized. They got live charting. It integrates artificial intelligence. So they have an AI assistant that's on the platform and it helps the traders actually improve their habits. You can find like other opportunities to spot and it'll basically automate certain strategies that you have. And then they have token insights. So it's called on-chain analytics. And basically this will help you see key levels. This will see like changes in volume. So if there's a lot of money that's flowing into a project, you'll be able to see it. And then you could also see the price action. So if there was a huge sell-off, you can see the chart will show you there's a big tank in the price. Normally when something's lower, that's your entry, right? And then third is going to be the incentives. So PAPL is going to be the utility token for Pineapple Dex. So it's going to allow people, and we're not advocating this, I'm just telling you what it does. It allows people to be able to stake and you can get 15% APY on it. Plus you get points based. It's a points based system that comes with it. So anybody who's a long-term holder, it will reward you more than somebody who just came in just to start using it. All right. So basically, the longer that you stake, the more you benefit. All right. So it basically creates like a flywheel where everybody is in need of PAPL, the utility coin. And then as the demand for it grows, more users will join, trade, stake, etc. And then the roadmap, they have a bunch of catalysts that's already lined up for it. So they're going to launch the full DEX version, and then they're going to have the Pineapple Express Launchpad, which is also rolling out a Telegram bot. So this is going to be for tracking your trades, volume, things like that. And then they also have an Academy Hub where people are going to be able to onboard millions of new users into crypto and DeFi. So just understand, guys, DeFi remains the backbone of crypto. We don't really urge anybody to go in here and just kind of just have your way because you will get wrecked, especially people who are brand new. But for those of you who are a little seasoned and you just want to kind of get in on a play, PAPL is definitely going to be one of them. They got a dedicated team, innovative product suite, tiny market cap, and PAPL could basically follow the same path that some of the other breakout DeFi projects had. And this is going to capture hype, value, and basically massive upside for people who have first movers advantage. So keep your eyes on Pineapple Dex. Again, the ticker is called PAPL, PAPPLE. All right. And I'll drop this for you guys. I always want to make sure you have insight. Boom. My bad. And here's the link for y'all. Boom. That's the ticker. That's everything that you guys need. And the only place that you guys can get that right now is not available on a whole bunch of different exchanges. It's available on Uniswap. So Uniswap is definitely not hard to use, but it's got a mobile app and it also has a computer desktop app so that you guys can access it. Easy. Go on, purchase, using ETH or whatever the case is, swap it into wrapped ETH, and then in the drop down, you guys can click on Papal and be able to purchase it, and you can store it right on your cold storage wallet, right? Right in your Ethereum wallets. So, telling you guys that joint is taking off right now. It's early. Right now, it's only a penny, but in the last, just since March 20th, it's up 418%. That's what I'm talking about. This is how things are moving. If you look at this chart, and after I share this, I'm gonna let y'all rock. Look at this chart. Look how beautiful this chart looks. Ebbs and flows. Boom. That joint taking off. And the reason it's taking off right now is just there's a lot of eyes that's on it. So now there's going to be a lot of social media influencers and stuff like that. Once they kind of catch wind of this, they're going to bring it to their communities, right? So with this market cap being this low, 10.5 million, this is definitely a prime entry. Now, again, not financial advice. I'm just telling you guys what I know. I'm able to spot opportunities because this is what I do. All right. So I'll make sure I drop this and add this inside the watch list. So you guys use the tools that we gave you inside the course of how to research a project. If you guys want to go down a rabbit hole yourself and just kind of, just sharpen your sword, boom, log into the courses, take it, and then run it through the litmus test. Rocket, you got your hand up. What you got?
You hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Got it. Um, yo, so real quick, I was at the Blueprint Summit. A lot of that stuff, y'all didn't see it. You need to go back and see it because a lot of that stuff that he said on that stage, man, is we about to see it really come into fruition. So, like you said earlier, he was a little early, but that doesn't mean he was wrong. And y'all, it's 800-page bill, but y'all need to run it through ChatGPT and see what stuff is in there because a lot of the stuff that, well, not a lot, but a good amount of stuff in that bill, a lot of stuff that Champion Steve said here is about to come into fruition. He put stuff in there for the payment rails, and for a lot of you guys that don't know, back in March, I think it's September 30th, going to be the last time we're going to be using paper checks, and I could be wrong, but I think the champ did a crypto in 10 with a play that possibly could benefit from no more paper checks being utilized. I think it started with a Z. But I wanted to make a request.
Zbeck Network, Zbeck.
I wanted to make a request. I got a lot of love for you guys, so I hope I'm not overstepping. If any of you guys in the chat agree with me, please drop it in the chat. But on that 1% call, is it possible we can have a little guest, a pop in with Kurt? Is that possible?
We got to see if he's available, but definitely we got one scheduled where he's actually going to come on regardless.
Okay. Perfect. All right. I only said that because he said 1% call, and I know he'd be dropping fire. But if y'all got him scheduled, perfect. That was my only request. But y'all drop some fire, and I appreciate y'all for sure.
And listen, this is recorded right here, so I'm gonna make sure he hears this directly, so he know he was summoned, he was requested. But we definitely got you covered. And I'm about to send out. I'm actually going to send out email correspondence for the 1%. For those of you, I know there's a lot of new people here. Steve kind of broke this down when we had the beginners orientation. So 1% is basically, it's a lifetime membership, and this is the projects that we feel are going to make it past regulations, past Black Swan event, and they're here because they solve real world problems, and they are poised to do very, very well in the future of finance, right? They solve a problem that exists inside the financial realm, inside the digital realm, etc., right? And each one of these projects, they actually do something. In cryptocurrency, now they've made it so easy where people can literally log in, create a project, in a snap of a finger. Basically, you can copy another project's code and just drop, right? This is not that. Every project that's in the 1% is super valuable. And when Steve mentioned there was a new change that was happening that's coming to play in July next week, 1% flow. 1% flow. And I hate to be so kind of like evasive, like not being able to tell you guys definitively, but I don't want to just give you guys too much information. But what I will do is I'm gonna give you guys the site so you guys can get into it. And then you can look at the site itself and it'll tell you everything that's in it. There's a video for you guys to watch. I'm gonna give you guys a direct link for it.
Hey, all y'all new students, if y'all can, man, y'all need to hop in the 1%. Like you said, next week actually it's on my birthday. Some crazy news, you know. It's gonna be an important week over there in DC and around the world as far as the crypto situation is, man. So y'all hop in the 1% if y'all can. And if for all y'all newbies, y'all, you know, a little, you know, skeptical about what Champion Steve's be bringing you guys, please don't, man. These brothers, they truthful, they honest, they lead with humility, but they come at you raw with all the truth that you need. And they've said it before, but you know, this window is closing, man. And like I said earlier, with this big beautiful bill, that window just got a little bit shorter. You know what I'm saying? So please go through those courses. Make sure you guys, you know, learn as much as you can, do your research, ask whatever questions you can on these live calls, and play them back 2-3 times. Because sometimes I know, especially when you're new, some of the stuff they say might sound like Chinese sometimes when you hear it for the first time. When you go back and the way they break it down, you know, you'll be able to get it. You know, Steve and Champ, even though they know and they talk this tech lingo, they're like translators. So the way they be able to break this down is real palatable for everybody. So make sure you go through those courses, watch these videos as much time as you can, and ask all questions. And you know, we on the way. And appreciate these guys for leading the charge.
Man, Rocket, greatly appreciate you. And this is from a 1% member, and this is somebody who's been with us. You know, the community just kind of shares this sentiment. We show and prove, man. We do what we do. So greatly appreciate that, Rocket. Happy early birthday, and we definitely got you covered.
See you guys on Saturday. Oh, tomorrow. No, sorry, tomorrow.
All right. Now let's get it. You're ready. All right, so we gave you guys a lot of nuggets, a lot of gems tonight. Tonight's call was more than just a simple update. It was basically a wake-up call for those who are ready to move before the masses. So we covered the PricewaterhouseCoopers, the fact that they're not just dibbling in crypto, they're actually building a backbone for the next wave. I'm talking stablecoins, ETFs, custody, insurance, advisory, etc. Right? All the rails that will define who wins when the capital floods in. We revisited, the 508c1a blueprint with Lance Johnstone. And this is a reminder that strategic positioning is just as important as smart investing. We also talked about first movers advantage, talked about the S1 ETF, stacking blue chips with XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Kronos, right before the headlines catch it. And for the brave, we pulled back the curtain on a super gem, Pineapple Dex. This is the DeFi frontier where early believers will write the rules. Use this information wisely. Stay early, stay sharp, stay positioned, stay connected. This is the time, because in this game, the next move belongs to the ones who move first. All right. We greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys for being here with us tonight, showing up, leaning in, and basically taking control of your future. All right. So now let's go put this knowledge to work. This replay will be available, and we'll make sure we have all the links and everything you guys needed that we dropped on this call. All right. So greatly appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all on the next one. Tomorrow, .Connect Wednesdays, 100th episode. Be there, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Big love.